Hello everyone. In today's video I'll be talking about A Christmas Story from 1983. This year marks the 40th anniversary of A Christmas Story. It was directed by Bob Clark. As I said in my Black Christmas video 3 years ago, it's crazy and ironic he directed a Christmas horror movie, and he directed a family Christmas happy jolly movie. Two different Christmas genre movies. The ironic thing about what these Christmas movies have in common: when they first came out, they were not successful, they had no audience at the time, until years later they developed cult followings in recent years. Prior to this movie, Bob Clark directed Porky's, a sex comedy movie. Due to that movie's success, that's why he was able to make this movie. If it was not for Porky's, you wouldn't have this movie today. The plot to A Christmas Story is about Ralphie who wants a BB gun for Christmas, but every time he tells someone what he wants for Christmas, everyone tells him the same thing: "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." I never had a BB gun growing up when I was a little kid, but I understand BB guns are very dangerous toys. It's surprising they got away with making those kind of toys and letting kids have those back in the day. My mom told me that my uncle had a BB gun when he was a little kid. Definitely not a toy that is not on the market today, not that I'm aware of. For me with toy guns, I had one of those like sound effects. I had like the Han Solo Star Wars toy gun, or I had my Army toy soldier figures that came with like toy gun weapons. That's about it. Ralphie's your basic ordinary little kid. He comes from a middle class family, goes to school, has friends. He really wants that BB gun for Christmas, but his mom fears that Ralphie getting one of those because of how dangerous BB guns are. Like any kid, he has a wild imagination, pretending he was John Wayne with a BB gun, saving his family from bank robbers. On a side note, as a little kid, I used to fantasize pretending to be Batman, saving my family from like the Joker or any like of Batman's villains. After saying a curse word out loud, his mom watched his mouth was so lying he heard the bad word from his friend Schwartz, but he originally heard that bad word from his father at his job. It's funny when the mom calls Schwartz mom and tells her, she yells and screams and smacks herself, "What did I do? What did I do? What did I do?" Then he imagines after having the soap in his mouth, in his fantasy he goes blind, and the parents feel guilty for putting the soap in his mouth. He has a favorite radio TV show that he likes to listen to. This shows how radio was TV for kids around that time period, back in the 1940s. Just before Christmas, he goes to the mall on Christmas Eve with his family, asking Santa Claus what he wants for Christmas, and Santa tells him the same thing his mother and teacher told him: "You'll shoot your eye out, kid." When Santa Claus says that, Ralphie has that look on his face like, "Huh? Well, you gotta be kidding me, even Santa Claus to say that to me." It's like, did he get enough of that from his mother? On Christmas Day, when Ralphie is opening his Christmas presents, he got a pink bunny rabbit from his aunt. He goes upstairs to try it on and feels silly and ridiculous wearing that bunny costume. Like his dad said, it looks like the Easter bunny. His mom thinks he looks cute, and his dad understands that Ralphie hated that. I don't blame him. I would hate that kind of gift too. When he finally gets the BB gun, his face lights up. He goes outside to play with his BB gun and gets hurt, but thankfully his eye was alright. And he uses a fake excuse to make sure his mom really did not find out what really happened. Throughout the entire movie, from start to finish, the movie is narrated by an adult Ralphie talking about a time in his life when he had one of his favorite Christmas times in his life as a child. I'm sure that's something we can all relate to and identify with. I had a lot of great Christmas growing up as a little kid. It's hard to pick a favorite Christmas year for me as a little kid. Also, it's hard for me to remember the one toy I really wanted for Christmas as a little kid. But I will say, one of my favorite Christmas times in my life as an adult, when my niece and nephew were born around Christmas time. That was the greatest gift my older sister ever gave me in my life. It's funny when he finds out the secret code from some radio show that he listens to. He finds out what the code meant: be sure to drink your Ovaltine. He realized it was not what it was cracked up to be. I always crack up with his reaction. "A crummy commercial? Son of a bitch." This movie came out in the 1980s, but despite that, it takes place in the 1940s. This movie has that 1940s feel to it, which I like. It feels like you've been transported back to a different time era. Despite this movie taking place in the 1940s, some fans debate this could possibly take place in 1939, because when Ralphie and his family go to the mall to see Santa Claus, They had people dressed up as the Wizard of Oz characters, because 1939 was the year The Wizard of Oz came out. Flick is one of Ralphie's closest friends, who sticks his tongue on an electric pole after being triple dog dared by his friend Schwartz. I feel bad for Flick. That's very dangerous. Lesson learned, don't be forced into something that sounds dangerous. When the teacher realizes he's missing, she calls the fire department to get his tongue out of the pole. He doesn't even tell the teacher Schwartz forced him to do it. When I first saw this scene as a little kid, it made me think about Dumb and Dumber when Harry licked the pole in the ski lift. Ralphie's other friend Schwartz, bratty kid, forces Flick to do things he does not want to do. Ralphie has a little brother who's not much of an eater, but his mom finds a way to get him to eat his food. Whatever works. Every time he goes outside to get ready for school, his mom bundles him up like he was about to go hunting or winter fishing with Eskimos. For an unknown reason, he can't seem to keep his arms down. When he falls down, he can't get up without assistance. As Groucho Marx once said in A Day at the Races to Margaret Dumont's character, keep flapping your arms just until you fly away. Ralphie's mother's a stay-at-home housewife and mother. The stereotypical mother, strict but had a soft side, was a loving, caring mother. She was not thrilled on Ralphie wanting a BB gun for Christmas. Ralphie's father's a handyman who gets mad, annoyed, agitated easily sometimes. While Ralphie's mother and teacher reject the BB gun gift, in fact, he doesn't even tell his father. He's the only one that was okay with Ralphie having a BB gun. It's possibly hinted that he got him the toy gun without realizing it. He tells his wife that he had one when he was a little kid. I don't know what his level of education was. When he gets the leg lamp, he reads the box incorrectly, thinking that it said fragile, must be Italian, where the box really said fragile. He loves turkey. When his wife is getting the turkey ready for Christmas, he tries to steal a piece, but catches him dead as a doornail. All he needed was cranberry sauce like Herman Munster. He hates the neighbor who has like a dozen dogs. They break in unexpected and ruin the Christmas dinner. They go out for Chinese food. Plan B. I don't know why. The actor who plays his father, Darren McGain, looked more like his grandfather than his dad, despite he was in his early 50s when he played this character. Here's a fact. Originally they wanted Jack Nicholson for the part playing the father. He was interested in the role but was turned down by the studio because they could not afford to pay his salary. Miss Shields, Ralphie's teacher. It's funny, before class begins, they say good morning to her with fake teeth. Then she tells her students to put the fake teeth back in the drawer. My theory on this was their teacher a former clown in the circus, but it's never explained like why she has a drawer of like toy jokes, chattering teeth. I'm probably thinking way too deep into that. Ralphie thinks he'll get a good grade when he writes an essay on like what he wants for Christmas. He pretends in his mind he's a teacher's pet, thinking he'll get an A+ for wanting the best Christmas present he ever wanted. When he gets the report back, he gets a C-, and Miss Shields writes the same thing his mom said to him, "You'll shoot your eye out." Then, like, he imagines her, like, dressed up as, like, the Wicked Witch from the East, from the Wizard of Oz, and his mom is dressed up in a clown, both saying in a scary voice, "You'll shoot your eye out! You'll shoot your eye out!" Ralphie feels outnumbered. The bully Scut Fargus, it's not explained, like, why he bullies kids. When he makes his first appearance in the movie, Ralphie narrates how scary looking he is. Scut Fargus. I don't know why, when he makes his first entrance, the music sounds like something out of Peter and the Wolf. The funny part is, when I was reading about the making of this movie, it turns out I was right. That's the music they used for the bullies entering this movie, was music from Peter and the Wolf. His sideman, Roverdale, they don't explain they are brothers, or he just likes to hang out with him to learn how to be a tough guy. I met the guy who played the bully in this movie, Zach Ward, who later going to be in Freddy vs. Jason, playing Mark's older brother that was killed by Freddy Krueger. But sadly, I don't have a photo meeting the guy. I'm not sure what other movies he's done since this movie. This is obviously his, like, big, like, iconic role. It shocked me that was the same guy. I didn't even recognize him because obviously he was all grown up. Of course, like all actors who play famous, iconic bullies, he was very nice and friendly. I had a nice 5-minute chit-chat with him. This guy was dressed up as some, like, video game character, and I had no idea who he was, and he explained it to me, but don't ask me in the comments, because I still have no idea, like, what, video game character that was, because he told me that he was a big video gamer. The part when he stands up to himself for being bullied so many times, let's face it, we've all been there as kids when we were bullied and decided to step up for ourselves and not take crap anymore. I was one of those. It's surprising after when Ralphie fights the bully, his mom stops him and the father does not get mad at him. I remember when I got into a fight with a bullying school, I hated the guy and fought in high school. I was suspended. My parents told me never do that again, which I never did again, of course. The father wins a leg lamp, and that leg lamp looks like something out of a sex shop or from Spencer's in the mall. A weird thing to hang up in your window where the neighbors could see it. His wife hates it because of how stupid and ridiculous it is. She accidentally breaks it, and the father gets mad. He tries to glue it back together, but it was not meant to be. That was short-lived. I never realized until a few years ago how this movie is overplayed at Christmas time. They do a 24-hour marathon. Well, I do like this movie, but it's not a Christmas movie. I don't need a marathon 24 hours. As much as I do like this movie, I don't watch it right away when Christmas is right around the corner. I'll watch it right in the middle of Christmas at least once. But I can see why not everyone might not like this movie for that reason. Overhyped, overplayed, too much around the holidays. There's a documentary called Clark World about director Bob Clark and about the making of this movie. I haven't seen that, but I'll have to check that out sometime in the near future. My mom's masseuse loves this movie. My mom gave her like a Christmas Story merchandise and Christmas ornaments of the movie. In the late 2000s, when I was a little kid, I remember there was a commercial that parodied this movie. Instead of Ralphie wanting the BB gun, instead he wanted some cell phone, spoofing the famous line, "You'll shoot your eye out instead, you'll run the bill up," which I thought was pretty funny and clever. There was a sequel that came out last year on HBO Max. I recently watched it, and you know what, surprisingly, it was not as bad as I thought it would be. It was much better than I expected. When I found out about they were making a sequel to this movie, like anyone else, I had my doubts and skeptics on not knowing how this movie was going to turn out to be, because it's one of those sequels that takes place years later where we see like Ralphie all grown up, married with his own kids. It's similar to how I felt when I saw the sequel to Blade Runner. I had the same like skeptic mindset, but when I saw it, it blew my mind. It was a lot better than I imagined. When I watched it, I was amazed and impressed and enjoyed it more than I expected to. It was a good story, it had the same spirit and nostalgia as the first movie. I like seeing how Ralphie has grown up, married kids. After his father died, the torch is passed down to him to keep all family Christmas traditions alive. But for Ralphie, Christmas is not the same without his father. It was also fun to see some familiar faces and shocking to see how the kid actors from the first movie, how like they're all grown up and they look so different than what I remember, what I'm used to. The actor who played Flick, woof, unrecognizable and yikes. The mother was played by Julie Haggerty from the Airplane comedy movies. The original mother from the first movie, Melinda Dillon, was retired since 2007, was asked to reprise her role as Ralphie's mother, but she declined. And sadly, she passed away 2 months after when this movie came out. I guess maybe that was a sign her health was not good in the end. That's why she did not come back for this movie. Darren McGavin, who played the dad in the first movie, passed away in 2006. It makes sense why they killed him off, because no one could replace him. He was the dad in the first movie. He was the character. There's that old saying, some things never change. Flick got his revenge back with Schwartz, triple dog daring him to go down a big slide on a sled. That was worse than the tongue sticking on the pole. The bully Scott Fargus grew up to be a police officer. He and Ralphie make peace. I'll do a video on the sequel in the near future. My mom does not even like this movie, yet she liked the sequel. I couldn't tell you why that is. I know there was a sequel from 2012, but from what I've heard, it was not that good. I'm probably never going to check that movie out ever in my life. There was also My Summer Story, which is not a Christmas movie, more of a summer movie about Ralphie and his family. Again, no thanks. This is another great Christmas classic that puts you in the Christmas spirit. Another movie that makes you feel nostalgia. It's a timeless Christmas classic with so many great moments, quotes. It's a comfort movie, reminding us of simple times as a little kid. Also reminds us how fun Christmas and magical can be. I love the ending when Ralphie's dad and mom are looking at the tree after the fun Christmas event. We all do that after Christmas. We sit back, relax, look at the beautiful Christmas tree, listen to some Christmas music, to feel that spirit and happiness. Ralph and his younger brother are sleeping, happily satisfied. They had the best Christmas of their lives as little boys. That was my video of the Christmas story. Have yourself a Merry Christmas. But remember, don't get a BB gun for Christmas or he'll shoot your eye out.